Hello Earthlings, back at it again. So this is the next section of my book. I've just decided that this is how I'm gonna start all books or all videos. It's just let you look at that. Um, this next section is want to be a curse breaker with me, which is kind of what I talked about in that past one. Um, every generation evolves. You want to know why teenagers start to rebel? It's because most of the damn time their parents are control freaks, just like their god. Parents have been getting away with abuse for a very long time because of the fact of they are religious. We all know that parents who don't necessarily go to church or whatever end up being the bad parents because they're trying to be different and not abuse their children. Now, I'm not saying there are not any non-religious abusive parents, but also but who is oh shit, I'm sorry. Okay, not that I'm saying there are not any non-religious abusive parents, but who's the one sending their homosexual child to a mental hospital, more like torture chamber, where they give you fucking shock treatments and other horrid abuse? That is not helpful, and that is just more abuse and trauma. That's why I can't watch what's it called? That TV series, American Horror Story. Is that what it's called? I can't watch those because to me it's not fiction. It's very real and it's traumatizing. Um and That's why I can't watch those, especially the one for the asylum, uh, because that's literally where most of the gay people went and was turned straight or whatever, and it's just too much trauma and abuse for me to watch, so I can't do that. Horror, you guys who like horror movies, I don't understand because those are based on real life events. I don't care what if it doesn't say it at all. Like fiction, it's based off of real life events. There's some serial killer out there who did the same shit as that horror character in the fucking movie, and it just trauma, dude, trauma. You're watching trauma on a movie. Anyways, it was and always is the religious parents who think there's something wrong with their child because they don't want to believe in some made up God, or they don't want to be controlled and abused anymore. No one should control their children, not even the parents. Parents should not be a child's first bully. My mother was my first bully, and still is. Well, actually, I have nothing to do with her, so she's not a bully anymore. Anyways, parents are only guides and protectors of their children and not use some God complex as an excuse to abuse them. Their so called God caused them to torment their children, even over some bullshit lies, because those children in real life went through some fucked up abuse. Because some God said homosexuality is a fucking sin. Yeah, I know there's some Christians out there who say that. That's not in the Bible. But it doesn't matter if it is or isn't in the Bible. That's what they've done with the Bible, and that's what we need to start looking at. And that's why I don't believe that there's good Christians, because if you're a good Christian, you should be the most pissed off person right now and the most active person to separate church from the government, because you should know better. And that means if you're not doing that, then you're not a good Christian. And if you're just sitting on the sidelines, well, I don't associate with those Christians, it doesn't matter. You're putting the label of a Christian on your fucking lap and saying that I'm a Christian, so go out and be a true Christian if that's what you really think that what Christianity is. To me, Christianity, like Jesus was not a fucking Christian. I guarantee you it. There are stories that he went and talked to Buddhist priests who are spiritualists, and he was trying to go up against the government too. That's why the Romans killed him. It was because the Romans were horrible. They had slaves. They killed villages. They burned them down, claimed land, and Jesus was saying, "Hey, this isn't okay." And he's not white, by the way. His name is probably not even Jesus. It's probably Jesus, like how it should be said. But the white Romans took over it Roman Catholic Church took over and fucked it all up because their gods and goddesses weren't working anymore on being controlling their peasants, people of poverty, farmers and such. So they're like, oh, well, let's do this one god. Maybe they'll, because they were already kind of, I guess, believing in a god or whatever. But they fucked it up. They fucked it up. Okay, it's been fucked up for a long time. You know what is not a fucking sin in their eyes? Child abuse, child rape. You have parents and priests raping children. Period. The end. The truth is out there. The history is there. The adults who went through that trauma are starting to come out and talk about it, and we should listen to them. Not just go, oh, well, it was so many years ago, it doesn't matter anymore. No, it does still matter because they never got that peace of mind of their abuser being held accountable. And so it does fucking matter. They get away with it too because their church pays off some shitty assholes in the justice system. The government and church are in a relationship. They've been fucking shit up for a long time. And so, if religion and the government won't break up, we will break them up. And it is for their own good. I made sure that I would talk about a lot of true problems that we have in the present with our government and other countries' government. This spiritual awakening is for the whole earth, basically to call them out on their bullshit, lies, and secrets. They've been keeping us in the dark for too long. They have been in a very toxic relationship among themselves in many lifetimes, and we need to dismantle that toxic cycle relationship. We need to keep calling them out on their shit and holding them accountable for all the abuse, no matter how long ago it was. We have centuries of abuse to hold them accountable for, and every single victim matters. We can hold them accountable and keep healing ourselves and the earth if we all work together and stop working for the corruption and start creating ways to help one another out so we don't have to rely on them anymore. They take away our resources so that way they can be like, hey, I've got your resources here, and it comes with conditions, and it's bullshit. The government shouldn't come with conditions. The government should be helping every single person out because that's their fucking job, and they haven't been doing it ever. Not at all. Because there's been still cops killing people, people dying from disease and viruses because there's no health care for all. And I know that there's some other countries that have it, and by all means, if you live in a country that's better than this, good for you. Can I come move there? No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually meant to stay here and change this. I used to think that I wanted to move out of this country and just not deal with it, but in reality, that won't fix the problem. Me staying in this country, and especially in the state that I'm in, because the state that I'm in is definitely a Bible Belt state. The only way I can really change this world is by staying in this fucking country and making sure that it changes. So yeah, that was a process because I really did want to move out. And I used to be wanting to move to Canada, but then I realized that Canada has their dark history too. They have a lot of indigenous children buried in their lands from dying at young age because they were in residential boarding bullshit schools. So yeah, the truth has always been there, but it's really showing itself mostly because of media. Another thing is like the government gave us this media platforms to share and shit, thinking that it would control us, but like LSD, it doesn't control us. It actually opens our mind more, and we start realizing, hey, there's individuals just like me who've gone through the same shit as me, and we get to see the real truth. Like, it helped us connect in a way that we could find each other. We can realize that we can just see the truth more now. They thought it was going to control us, but they set themselves up to fail by giving us this technology, thinking that, like I said, would control us, but it's not, because it's allowed us to connect with people all over the world, literally all over the world. And I think that's great and awesome. So like, even technology can be evil and good. And as long as you're using your technology, your magic, and your science for good, like legit good, like there's no weird side effects or symptoms, or you're not hurting anyone and shit like that, then you're using it for good, and that's good magic. Okay? But using technology for bad, that's the bad magic. That's the bad science. Even science can be bad too. You know how many times they have thrown uh lobotomies, that thing where they took part of her queer brain out? Um that was the name of science. So for those people who are like, well, it's science, you're not a scientist, you don't know. Dude, some of these scientists just claim they're scientists and they're really not. And that's how they started out too. Like just random science, oh, I'm a scientist, so you have to listen to me. And then they were just doing horrible fucking shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like the truth is out there, and we need to start seeing it for the truth, no matter how dark it is. And because the only way we can change it is by facing it, realizing that white people are a cause of most trauma and abuse, if not all. And even people of color who try to be so white, like those people who are supporters of these white people, they have lost themselves so much that they try to fit in so bad that they don't even know who the fuck they are. They're just what the white person wants them to be. And they've lost their true authentic self in that. So their fucking healing path is gonna be crazy too. But anyways, where was I? I don't know where I'm at. Oh yeah, don't rely on the government anymore, okay? And like, oh, that's another thing, like nonprofit organizations, there's so many of them out there, and it's because they know the government's not helping take care of us, so they create these nonprofit organizations to help people out. That's proof that we, the people, help each other out more than our so-called government. Get more involved to dismantle the capitalist patriarchy government as a whole ass earth unit together. We all need the help, and we all deserve this change. I know we all hate politics, but we do have to get involved enough to change how things are run. But pick your battles that you want to help with. Don't take on too much for yourself, and always remember, take care of yourself first. Heal yourself first, then heal the world. But think of it as this way. Healing the world is healing yourself. So technically you would be doing both. So keep that in mind when you're finding your healing superpowers, which look different in everyone. But they are all skills and resources we need to start a new healthy world for ourselves. And that's the end of that little section. That was a small section. But to end that, find what you're good at and then run with it. Because if you're doing something that you truly love and are passionate about and not some dead-end job, you're gonna have the energy for it. You're gonna have that energy. Because the reason why you don't have energy for some things is because you're doing something that's not for you. Like if you're going to some 9-to-5 job and you hate working there and you're so exhausted that you can't even do things at home, is because that job is taking too much of your energy. Do something that gives you energy and doesn't take it away. So being an activist or an advocate for some organization, that's going to be more energy fulfilling, and you'll be able to have the energy. I'm not saying it's not going to drain you a little bit, but it won't drain you as some dead end beat up job that doesn't care about you. And that's why I feel like this pandemic has also caused us to realize that, hey, this job was doing nothing for me and I am done with it. And so a lot of us quit our stupid jobs. And that's good, because if you were working at a job that doesn't even take care of you and gives you horrible pay and shit, and even if they give you good pay and they still treat you like shit, you don't deserve them. They don't deserve you. They don't deserve you because they're an abuser, a type of abusive work environment. If you're in an abusive work environment, you need to get out just as much as you need to get out of a family abusive environment or a friend abusive environment. get out of all of that abusive shit. And yeah, it's gonna feel lonely, but I guarantee you, whenever you start telling your story and talking about it, you're gonna find the people who support you and are gonna help uplift you. And that's what you need to do. Being your true, authentic self is gonna help you find the other true, authentic self people out there who actually want to build everyone up and not break them down. So if you still have friends who talk shit to you, even if it's a joke, I never understood jokes, and now I do. It's because they're not joking. Like, to me, passive aggressively joking about you and hurting your feelings is not a good friend. And that's why I've detached myself from so called friends, because I see them doing that to other people. Maybe not necessarily to me personally, but if they do it to other people, I don't want that energy in my bubble. I want energy of people who don't talk down to other people or make fun of them as jokes and stuff. Because I am not a joke to someone. I am a human being who has emotions and feelings, and I don't want people making fun of me because they want to have a little laugh, a temporary laugh that does nothing for them either. But because they hate themselves so damn much, they have to project that out to other people. So find the people who are healing as well and then heal together, because that energy is what's going to uplift you and bring you up to the next level. You guys are all about your games and leveling up. Think of it as that. You're leveling up on conditioned self, higher self. Level up. So that way you're just your true authentic self. And I'm not saying you're getting rid of your conditioned self. That conditioned self got you to this point, and you should love them just as much as you love your higher self, but help them heal from everything. Like, I've been doing the weirdest shit to heal my inner child. So heal your inner child and your inner teenager and your inner early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. My early 30s is when I started healing, so I don't have to heal that much from my early 30s, but past shit I've healed from. Like, I don't think I'm completely done, but I'm pretty fucking close, and it's been great. Because, I don't know, just being in my own mind and actually not hating myself is really great. Because when you don't hate yourself and you love yourself, you just feel better about everything else. Like, you feel confident in yourself that whenever you meet someone and you get bad energy from them, more likely you shouldn't have them in your life. Now, I'm not saying you can't have boundaries up with that person and only have them around every so often, but if they're really not doing much for you, just cut them off. It's actually addictive after a while, cutting people off. And some people will say, well, don't cut too many people off. Well, whenever you're surrounded by people who don't really give two shits, like, it's kind of what you have to do. So do it for yourself. Love yourself, trust yourself, respect yourself. Have people who actually care about you and love you unconditionally, so that way you're not feeling alone. Because I was around so many people, I had so many friends, but dude, I still felt alone. And I didn't realize, I thought it was just something wrong with me, but in reality it was their energy. I didn't actually want to be around that energy. I was forcing myself to be around that energy. So when you stop forcing yourself to be around negative energy and actually start finding the positive energy, your whole mindset changes, and you really do start loving and trusting yourself, because you start being around people who love and trust you already and show you how to do it, kind of, in a sense. It's going to be a little different because it's yourself, but it's still the same concept. It's like, if you give so many other people advice about how they should love themselves and love, care for themselves, self-care and all that, you should be telling that to yourself too. Because a lot of us, we say it to other people, but then we don't listen to our own fucking mind. And we're like, oh, I can say this to so-and-so, but I can't say it to myself. Start saying it to yourself. Because if anything, your higher self is telling your friends that, and that's why you were telling them anyways. So that's you anyways, telling them that. So it's already there. You loving yourself and trusting yourself is already there. You just have to allow it to shine through, I guess, in a sense. But anyways, going on to my next section. So keep healing and peace within. and stay kind.